Tonight on KGW News.
Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
A successful re-entry for NASA astronauts that just made history for their trip around the moon.
For all the kids out there, I mean, just pursue the dreams.
And a look at why a few groups are appealing the master plan to redevelop Portland's Lloyd Center.
It's crushing, honestly, because we've formed this community here.
Plus, Alaska Airlines is the latest to hike baggage fees due to high fuel costs. How much you'll have to pay now and later.
It's the best thing of my entire life. I feel so grateful for it.
Electric energy at the Moda Center as the Blazers fight hard for a better shot at the playoffs. Our top story, a successful end to a historic space mission. This was the view the Artemis II crew had as the parachutes deployed and they splashed down in the Pacific Ocean earlier this evening. The astronauts then emerged from the capsule. You can see them there. They were airlifted one by one from an inflatable raft to the Navy's awaiting recovery ship. Thank you for joining us here at 11. I'm Christine Pitawanich. Thousands gathered in San Diego to witness the moment in person, while people around the country were glued to the live stream. Maribel Gonzalez is at the San Diego Air and Space Museum with details on their return to Earth.
A new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete.
A historic moment watched around the world. The 4 astronauts aboard Artemis II returning home to Earth.
We sent 4 amazing people to the moon and safely returned them to Earth for the first time in more than 50 years.
The Orion capsule landing off the coast of San Diego Friday evening. But to get to this moment, the crew endured a high-stakes journey, traveling more than 30 times the speed of sound at temperatures between 4,000 and 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
The air molecules outside the capsule will be so hot they will split apart, creating what we call plasma.
This marks the end of a 10-day journey where the crew traveled to the far side of the moon, reaching deeper into space than any human has traveled before and capturing stunning images of the moon's surface.
And ultimately, we're building toward a moon base to establish a sustained presence on the lunar surface.
The crew will undergo a series of medical exams, and NASA says their bodies will go through a transition after being in space.
Maybe a little bit of wobbly legs for the first 3 to 4 hours after landing, but it's not the equivalent of, say, a long duration International Space Station flight in terms of the rigors on the body.
Families of some of the crew members say they couldn't be more proud of this moment.
It makes me really, really, really proud of the fact that I know that there are probably millions and millions of young people around the country and around the world that will look at him and point to him and look at their mom and dad and say, I can do that.
In San Diego, I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
Such an amazing moment. And for some, the Artemis II mission brings back the excitement of space exploration, like the memories of the Apollo missions and the first landing on the moon. One person closely watching the splashdown tonight, the director of space science education at OMSI in Portland.
Know that from this mission, it has inspired many young generation to be interested in science, interested in human exploration, all of that. And I couldn't ask for a better time that we need something like this now to get excited.
Absolutely. And all told, the Artemis II crew flew around 695,000 miles from launch to splashdown, going 4,100 miles deeper into space than the Apollo 13 mission. Okay, let's get to some weather now, where we saw some rainbows. Look at that, pop over Portland with a sunny start to the day mixing with the rain this evening. What a cool time lapse. Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino here now with a first look at your weather impact forecast. Happy Friday, Matt.
Hey, Christine, you too. Boy, it was a really interesting Friday night too. Lots of thunderstorms out there. This great video from Jeff Kastner, you may recognize the name from the work he did with Grant McComey, but nonetheless is out by Hillsborough, and lots of lightning there. You can see the lightning strikes there that Jeff captured with this storm. So really a beautiful view there. We have other pictures to share with you later on, too, of viewers sending in pictures of the lightning. But now it's just rain, and it's been coming down pretty hard in some areas. We had a lot of lightning strikes earlier, 100 or so, but now the lightning is over and it's just showers. Only 1/10 of an inch at the airport, but Scappoose is up to 1/2 an inch. Over 1/4 of an inch in Hillsborough and Aurora. So it just depends on where the showers lined up. And they really lined up on the west side of the valley and the east side of the Coast Range, 0.23 of an inch in McMinnville. The rain showers continue tonight. Here's another time lapse for you from our sky cam at the Reserve Golf Course. And you see that rain shower cruise on by, and then you'll see a flash of lightning here in just a second here. I think I paused it when the lightning came down. It got dark, but nonetheless, we had lightning happening all over the place. There we go. The clouds getting lit up by the lightning there. So again, a very, very active display of weather from Mother Nature, of course, tonight. We'll see showers tomorrow. Slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm, but mainly just near the Cascades and won't be as active as it was tonight. Sun and showers on Sunday. Next week, after a dry day Monday, more rain and some heavy mountain snow back in the forecast too. So more lightning pictures for you and the weekend forecast in a bit, Christine.
Can't wait to see him. Thanks, Matt. In an update tonight, a grand jury has found Marion County Sheriff's deputies' use of force justified during an incident in Almsville last month. Investigators say on March 29th, Brian Baker held his wife at gunpoint. As deputies went into the house, they say Baker fired a shot into the ceiling, then pointed the gun at them. 2 deputies fired shots at Baker, but he escaped. Deputies were able to get Baker's wife out safely, but for a time didn't know his location. Here's newly released radio traffic from that night.
We're all out of the house. We're going to lock it down. 34108 is the family out. Confirm family's out. We do not have eyes on him.
So they later learned Baker went into the garage and shot himself. Investigators determined Baker was hit once in the arm by a deputy's bullet, then died from a self-inflicted wound. The grand jury ruled the deputies were justified in firing shots given the threat. Also developing tonight in Vancouver, police are investigating what they believe is a domestic violence homicide. The attack happened at the Oakbrook Apartments off Northeast Oakbrook Circle near I-205. When police were called out late last night, they found a 33-year-old woman with significant knife wounds dead inside a home. A 30-year-old man was also found with injuries that officers said were self-inflicted. The man was taken to the hospital. We don't know his condition at this point. But a quick reminder that if you or someone you know has experienced domestic violence, you can call the Domestic Violence Hotline 24/7 at 1-800-799-SAFE. You see that number there on your screen, or you can also text the word START to 88788.
But that boy had such a big heart. He was so selfless.
We are learning more tonight about one of the teenagers killed when a car crashed into the Willamette River. Police say 19-year-old Roberto Garcia Chavez was driving the car early Monday morning when it sped through Waterfront Park and hit a metal railing before going into the water. That was after an officer tried to stop the car for reckless driving. His sister, Yanette, tells us she can't explain what happened and is just trying to come to terms with the loss.
He's my brother, he's my best friend. I don't have that best friend to talk to. It's a tragic story. We cannot change what happened. It is what it is now, and we just have to learn to live in grace and move forward and just make sure that we don't repeat this.
She says her brother considered everyone in the car close friends who he called a second family. 2 others in the car were killed in the crash. The search continues for one of their bodies. The only survivor was rescued from the water shortly after. New tonight, advocacy groups are appealing a plan to redevelop the Lloyd Center. It comes a month after Portland's Design Commission approved a vision to create a new multi-use site with housing and retail space. Our Alma McCarty spoke with one of the lead organizers for the Save Lloyd campaign. Alma.
Christine, owners of the mall say that these appeals, which they called baseless, would just lead to further delay at a time when housing and investment is needed in the city. Advocates, though, for the Lloyd Center argue that that can still happen on the 27-acre site without completely doing away with the mall.
Despite the lack of hustle and bustle and the nearly empty Northeast Portland parking lot, the Lloyd Center has fans and fierce advocates.
I think it's uniquely Portland, and that's why we're fighting so hard to save it.
Matt Henderson began renting a space here at the end of 2023.
I mean, it has been an amazing and transformative experience. What we have going on at Lloyd Center in the past couple of years, increasingly, and there's been a build of momentum, is that sort of organic, transformational community energy that, is the stuff that makes cities great.
That's why the Save Lloyd campaign appealed a decision by Portland's Design Commission, signing off on plans to redevelop the site.
The owners want to transform the largely vacant mall into a new urban neighborhood.
So the appeal is really our last formal opportunity to say, hey, look, no, we think you're making a mistake.
The Save Lloyd Ice Coalition filed an appeal as well. They're hoping to preserve the center's skating rink. In a statement, the managing director for Urban Renaissance Group said, in part, at a time when the city is facing real challenges in housing and investment, we believe it is important to keep momentum behind a project that would deliver thousands of new homes and support economic activity in the city's core. When it comes to housing, Henderson argues it's not an either-or, and there's plenty of space for new housing by taking out anchor stores and downsizing.
We're here saying, look, let's do this in a more sort of phased, sane way where we keep what's working about the mall, condense some of these businesses closer to the ice rink.
City Council will hold the appeals hearing, although officials haven't confirmed the date. Worth noting, all of this back and forth is limited to the future redevelopment plans, not the demolition of the mall. Owners said the mall will close regardless of the appeals process before the end of the year. Christine?
So many memories made at Lloyd Center for a lot of people, so you can understand why they want to save it. Thank you, Alma.